That's Josh on the saxophone and Charlie on the slide trombone.
That's Mr. Christopher Smail on the lead vocal and lead guitar, sometimes at the exact same moment.
Hey, I'm Joshy Boy and I'm in Coolidge. Do you want us I'm Joshy Boy and I'm Joshy Boy and I'm Chris and we're in Coolidge and you're watching Thank God for Jury Duty.
Been up to lately?
Yeah. What has Coolidge been up to, or me personally?
Well, I can do both. What are you doing right now?
Yeah. So I think I just got finished saying, so many of us are married, we have kids, we have jobs, and we're pretty active in other musical projects. And we love when this comes together, but we're not a full-time touring band. What I've been up to lately, is we're always working on Coolidge material, whether it's writing, recording, trying to get things out. So as far as Coolidge goes, we are halfway through a 4-song EP that the final 2 songs are going to be released in the beginning of October. And it's kind of a departure for us. It is political themed, which we're not really a political band, but we found that we had these 4 songs that were kind of reflective of politics. And we try to, toe the line, kind of middle of the road. We have our politics, but try not to take sides on the songs too much. Don't want to alienate anybody, but I think you can read between the lines. And it's called Vote for Coolidge. So 4 songs, Vote for Coolidge. And like I said, we had 2 songs from it, and then the final 2 will come out in about 3 weeks.
It's not your right to take away my rights. It's not your right to take away my rights. Can you hear the fireworks beyond the 4th of July? How are we supposed to know the time to shelter and hide? Never going to find the middle when you're living on the edge.
Outside of that, we also have some other singles that are just basically ready to be released. Just comes down to timing. We're always writing and recording. That's where we're at.
You say you had another project?
I do. It's not off the ground yet. It's pretty fun. It actually features my 22-year-old son on drums. So it made it come together really easily because he's got a lot of energy. And I fed him songs and he came up with parts and I was like, oh, awesome. So, but we've got an album's worth of material ready to roll out probably in about 2 or 3 months.
Awesome. So I guess, why'd you come up with the name Coolidge?
So I often joke that it's not about the guy that did the dogs playing cards paintings. His name was Coolidge. But it's actually a personal story for me. That is that my late grandfather used to get a real kick out of me because I was and still am a pretty quiet guy. And when I was a kid, I was dreadfully shy. And Calvin Coolidge was known as the quiet president. Cool Cal was the nickname for him. And so my grandpa would always say, oh, there's Coolidge over there in the corner, Cool Cal. And I just loved that. And so it kind of stuck with me. While I was in Johnny Socko, I had a bunch of material. And Johnny Socko released an album called Quattro. And I had all this excess material. And the drummer said, you should put out a solo record. And so he was the drummer actually for it. And Matt Wilson, the bass player for Coolidge, was the bass player for Coolidge. Bass player for Socko. Get it confused. It's very incestuous. So I put that out as a side project with Johnny Socko. And then when Johnny Socko kind of wrapped things up in 2003, I was looking at out a project. So Coolidge became the only project I had. And it was just kind of a three-piece pop rock thing. But over time, I really started missing the kind of music that I was playing with Johnny Socko, and so I kept in contact with Charlie Crone on the slide trombone, and then we brought Josh Silbert on saxophone into the fold, and found ourselves kind of doing music similar to that style, but also a little more rock than Socko was. And of course, we still had all the guys, so it was real easy to do a few Socko songs here and there, right? I've always said that we're not Johnny Socko, but if anybody has the pedigree to play those songs, it would be us, because nobody else is out there playing them. So I feel like we've got license to do that. Anybody, if I remember, would have license to play those songs, but we're a working band with horns, so we end up doing it inevitably. It was a long-winded answer.
Yeah, I always like Calvin Coolidge because of like the silent cow thing, like you said. I think there was some kind of party or whatever. The lady was like, I bet I can get you to say more than like 3 words or whatever, and he was like, you lose.
Oh, right.
Or 2 words or whatever it was. Oh, that's why I remember him. Yeah,
that's a good one.
that was one of my favorite things. I learned something from history class. But I always liked that line in that story.
I think his wife, was it his wife that kept raccoons in the White House? There's also someone around that era that kept some pretty exotic pet choices.
But I'll say, right now it's a good time too for that. With like, I like the voting theme, like that you had going.
Yeah, and there is that presidential tie-in, so it's kind of fun. There's some great old, if you Google, some great Coolidge posters. You know, keep cool with Coolidge and things like that. So we thought we'd kind of run on that theme.
It's not your right to take away my rights. It's not your right to take away my rights.
Is that right?
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Is the thing. I guess I was gonna say on the back of the conditioned transmission record.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it says replacing Socko's silliness with heart on its sleeve, sincerity and positivity.
Yep.
Coolidge managed to bring the wisdom a few more decades to the table while keeping it upbeat and fun. So I just want to say, so it's still fun. It's just not as silly, or what's going on with that part?
I would say it's not as silly.
Okay.
You know, we still appreciate a good fart joke, but maybe we're less likely to put it into song. And this guy right here likes writing the 3-minute pop gems that are kind of continuing the tradition of the Beatles, you know, melodic gems and nice tight lyrics. But even some of the songs that I've brought to the table, a little bit more mature. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, we're not in our 20s. We're not doing this for free beer. So, you know, we're writing songs about where we are in life.
Yeah. I guess talking about that, but it's not that album. But we're talking. I like "We're in Our 50s." It comes to mind since you kind of said count on that. That's like kind of like silly and catchy.
Yep.
I think that's my favorite one.
It's an excellent example of kind of bridging, you know, catchiness and silliness in the same little nugget.
We're in our 50s, and so are you. We're in our 50s, yeah, that's that's right in our 50s. If you think that's nifty, you're probably 50. We'll do it ourselves DIY until the day that we die.
You share like a lot of comedians stuff like on Instagram, and I was like, it seems like a lot of people today like don't want the silliness anymore. So like, I like music, but like, I don't know, if it's funny, like it makes me like it even more. So I guess, what are your thoughts on like comedy and music? Do you like them together, or are they okay, or what?
I have many specific thoughts. Okay, so I love comedy, I love music. I've never been a big fan of comedians incorporating music, and yet Spinal Tap is one of my favorite things on this planet. So, go figure. I am a big fan of Frank Zappa, and Frank Zappa has always posited the question, does humor belong in music? And I don't necessarily seek out to write silly stuff. Sometimes it just comes out. I do have a tendency, if I'm writing lyrics, I have a tendency to get myself in trouble somehow, you know. But there's nothing wrong with smiling. There are also ways to imply humor via music on the musical side of things. So
I think with anything, it has to come naturally. And I'm not the goofiest guy in the world, so I'm not going to force silliness into music. I love it. I love comedians. And Spinal Tap, of course, yes, absolutely it for me. But man, those are special kinds of talent that can make it happen. So as long as it's not forced, and you can tell when it's forced.
yep.
So I think we just do what we do. You know, if I could do something as brilliant as Spinal Tap, I would do it. but it's not me.
Like I do stand-up comedy, and I have like a trombone, but it's only like it only does like the wahs because I like the sad jokes.
That's perfect.
So okay, good, that's
perfect.
acceptable. Yeah, that's something. I always wanted to see Johnny Socko live. Like I heard that your shows were really great, and like I would have seen you, but I don't remember you ever really coming to Virginia when I was going to shows.
I think we did one show in Norfolk.
Okay.
I think it was either in Norfolk or in Newport News, and that's all I remember.
Okay. You know what year it was?
Sometime after 1992, sometime before 2004.
Okay.
We were supposed to play Roanoke, Virginia, and that was spectacular. That was amazing because we had a really long drive from wherever we were coming, and we drove all the way to Roanoke, Virginia, and we got to the club, and there's a handwritten note on the door that says, "No power, show's canceled."
Oh my God.
So we're like, okay.
So what'd you do?
We went to the hotel. Drank.
Oh.
I know. Yeah.
You have to come back and hopefully.
Okay.
This next performer hails from
Your mom.
your mom. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Silbert.
When the sun are too bright, put on the blue black a boot, give me the coffee like a better square and like a lava kind of sun as I'm upon your pin, got out all up with the boom. Give me two bits of my chicken wheel, cause he's a not dropping, but I'll be so kiss me. Got boom, bulla, so then I wait and take to the gate, there's a look at the ribbing and I want my there's a lot of hurry, don't shed, that's okay. I'm feeling in my better, my minute did I then I thought like cronies, if I why we're so fast, because I'm fucking out. If I needed more money, I'd go get the member. It's because some tones over a taste of the shine, but if I'm living good in and full trouble. But you just with me up a double on my lap. Hell, sack the band, I'm gonna pick up. Watch it, and my racing buzzer on the board, and the band will go so with the ball. And the hook gets so high, and that nobody good like me, come up to the fiddle. Get it primitive, like a way of the bubble with the hooch, on the floor, shoot. That's why the body we play, big gimmicks. We not go. Get up and say the same thing there was I want a hooch, not for me to sing 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 a hooch, Just Silbert!
I was reading too online, someone was talking about used to have dance contests or something.
Johnny Socko used to have dance contests. That was probably started by the original singer of Johnny Socko, a guy named Mike Wiltrout, who is one of the funniest dudes on the planet. If you get a couple beers in him, he is hysterical. And he actually has continued the dance prize tradition with his own band called the Leisure Kings. And he will go to Goodwills and Salvation Armies and thrift stores around the Midwest. Whoa. That's an AWAC. Good work.
Care about jack shit. I just wanna pick my nose. Maybe true about myself. That's the way it goes. Yeah, I don't care about jack shit. I just wanna pick my nose. Maybe true about myself. Yeah, that's the way it goes, Chris. I don't care about jack shit. I just wanna pick my nose. Maybe true about myself. That's the way it goes. I don't care about jack shit. I just wanna pick my nose. Maybe true about myself. That's the way it goes.
And he will find incredible, beautiful junk or trophies, or just he's the mastermind behind the dance prizes.
So how do you like going about preparing to like put on a show? Do you like do anything like special? I don't know, to get ready, or what do you think about when you get ready to perform?
You made it! You made it! We're here! You look awesome! Feels so good! Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? It's go time, baby! Let's get on with the show!
Maybe.
I think the most important thing I do is, should I have one more pee? Because it's always going to be two, never going to be just one. Is it going to be more? And you don't want to be on stage like, oh, I should have had another. You gotta. That's the most. I learned that from Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith and Beethoven, all the greats. That's the first thing that came to mind. I don't know.
I stretch. I try to remember to breathe.
That's good.
I'm actually like really super calm before we go on. It's just kind of there's so much work that goes into so many aspects of being an original band that like playing is the easy fun part. So it's like I'm relaxed on stage.
We should add the peeing part to we're in our 50s.
Yes.
But yeah, so like who do you think puts on the best shows?
Like in the history of music,
Or like, I don't know, who do you like and you're like, they put on a good show?
Fishbone is the standard answer.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like live shows I've seen, and I've seen a bunch of my favorite bands a bunch. I've seen good and bad shows. And I think every band and every genre has its own parameters of what constitutes a good show. I saw a show at a small bar in Indianapolis. This African guitarist named Madhu Mokhtar didn't speak a word of English. Each song was 12 minutes long. They just played the hell out of their instruments. And that was one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was great because it was great. I've seen Mastodon. They stood there and played their instruments, and it was incredible. I've seen Fishbone a bunch. Yeah, I mean, Angela Moore is probably my favorite live performer.
Do you have one? Or you
You've
said
seen Green Day.
Fishbone.
I've never seen Green Day.
Yeah,
You've seen Green Day a bunch.
yeah,
Okay,
it's so obvious. I mean, they've got such a budget for Green Day for video technology and pyrotechnics, but at the same time, those guys are as old as us and so much energy running all over the stage. It's a big stage, so that's a big show. And it's impressive.
My daughter made me watch the Taylor Swift Netflix thing, and I was really, really impressed. She's a hell of a performer. I don't have the money to afford to go see her. She's impressive.
Boy meets girl. Boy falls in love with girl. Boy runs over girl in the driveway. At the funeral. Boy is falls in love with the lady in the street. One, two, three, four, five. Hey! Boy meets girl. Boy falls in love with girl. Boy runs over girl in the driveway. At the funeral. Boy makes a false in love with the lady in the street. Yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four, five. Hey! Elvis, garbage to kids.
Did you write on Instagram we're supposed to ask about your hair?
I am so punk rock. I accidentally dyed my hair blue. So I bleached my hair, and you can put in a toner to get the orange remnants out of bleached hair.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the company that makes this toner also makes hair dye. And I reached down in the shower thinking I was putting in toner to take the orange out of my bleached hair. And I looked down at my hands and they were bright blue. And I went, oh, shh. And I looked in the mirror and I had dyed my hair blue by accident. So punk rock. Which would have been fine if I didn't have a work commitment in about a week that I had to go to and be in front of hundreds of people in a professional capacity. So, turned into a frantic, oops, hair dye, be gone process. And then about a week later, I bleached it again. Fortunately, came out with this fabulous look. But, yeah.
This is all natural. This is all George Clooney, salt and pepper. My hair was blue for a stretch. I remember the 90s.
In the 90s.
Seagull.
Jonathan Living Seagull.
So what's like something people would be surprised to know about you?
Golly. I'm pretty good at Scrabble. I write screenplays, but not professionally or successfully. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at trivia. I'm a licensed financial advisor.
I know something about you. How did you get into college?
I played college baseball. Yeah. I was a pitcher for a year, and then I said, F this, practicing twice a day, and started playing more music.
That's like why I quit basketball.
Yeah.
It's like dope. Oh yeah, so when you're not playing music, what are you doing?
Playing music. I don't have a day job, so I'm a full-time musician, and it's astounding how many hours a day, times a week, I'm doing music stuff, and I'm not writing music and not playing an instrument. Doing admin stuff, taking care of nuts and bolts stuff, I'm trying to get in the licensing game, and I write a lot of music for Coolidge, for other projects. I'm also a freelancer, so I play with a whole bunch of people.
If you need horn or string parts, you got it.
Do recording sessions.
We're both family guys. Everybody's family guys.
Yeah,
so
everyone in the band has at least one kid.
yeah, we're pretty busy with
Actually,
family.
everyone has at least 2 kids. Yeah. That we know of.
And again, I'm a financial counselor. I help people understand their retirement plans.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Look at that dude's eyebrows. You know what I do in my off time? I wow in these eyebrows. Kudos to you, sir.
I've been doing like. So what are your screenplays?
What am I, what?
You said you did screenplays.
Oh, I have a couple horror ones. I have a bank heist one. I got I can't remember. I didn't think I'd be talking about this. Slowly plugging through a fictionalized historical World War II one where a group of rogue Nazis are trying to upset the Potsdam peace brokering deals. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. To be determined. I'll see you on Oscar night. Got him.
This room is spinning around. I can't stand up. I might fall down. This room is spinning around. I can't stand up. I might fall down.
From Quattro, can you tell me about the song Work That Guitar? This is it's like for MU330.
Oh, yeah. MU330 are kind of our long-term boyfriend bands. Like, eons ago, Chuck Wren got Johnny Socko up to the Metro in Chicago for American Gothic. He put us on a compilation. There's a whole Midwest band compilation, and Johnny Socko had a song on there. MU330 had a song on there. He did an American Gothic show, and that was kind of our first time really getting involved with other Midwest ska bands. And from kind of day one, it was like, hi, we're in Johnny Socko, hi, we're in MU330. We kind of became buds and stayed in touch. And Dan Podass was on one of our records. And then, when you are friends with touring other bands, you're constantly swapping stories. And then they told us a story about Bobby Brown in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, this is Dan's story, but I guess I kind of stolen it. But I'll try to retell it. He was in a club, and Bobby Brown was in the club. The Bobby Brown, the godfather of hip hop.
Mr. Whitney Houston.
And Bobby Brown had gone to the club next door and saw MU330 play a set. And then Dan went over next door to get a drink, and Bobby was at the bar, and Bobby saw Dan, the singer of MU330, and Bobby allegedly had a few drinks. And allegedly turned to Dan and said, man, you gotta work that guitar. And Dan was like, cool, yeah, thanks, hope you like the show. It's like, no. You gotta work that guitar. And Dan was like, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, sir. No, you gotta work that guitar. So we love that story. And so it's a retelling of that story a bit. It's not our story, but we told it.
Are you ready to go? Yeah, let's get on with the show.
I also love Full Trucker Effect and like like it's not literally. I like the music too, but I also like the spoken parts and like the commercial. Like the commercial is probably my favorite, and I guess, but I also do get feeling more like David Hasselhoff stuck in my head too. So I do like songs, but I said like, why did you want to like add the spoken parts and like why did you decide to do the commercial like thing?
So we kind of, as a band, we were on the road a lot during this time. We were just living in the van, on the highway all the time. And so truck stops kind of became our mini home away from home. And it just kind of turned, like one time we were at a gas station late at night, and I had this idea of like, wouldn't it be funny to have a semi with hydraulics and neon underneath doing, like, what if there's like a rap video but at a truck stop? And like combining hip hop and trucker culture, and I kind of stumbled into this hip hop, full truck, and then that led to kind of this fake movie thing, or real movie if you were willing to believe it. And so we decided we went whole hog, and we're like, let's make a fake soundtrack to a fake movie, and we wanted to have these sound bites that sounded like we were sampling a movie. So Chris wrote a song that's on Quattro called Dancing Queen, and a little snippet of that was used for an Adam Sandler trailer, and we got a big old check for that. The second highest chunk of change we've ever gotten as a band was for the spoken in-between bit on Full Trucker Effect called Tobacco in Paris, where we're kind of making fun of Pulp Fiction in the trucker world, and some independent movie wanted that for background sound, and they licensed it and gave us a bunch of money. So there you go.
If you ask anybody from that era, they'll say that that's probably those bits that you like are probably their favorite parts of the album too, because it was a blast to record, a blast to put together. The background of Tobacco in Paris is I, on my little studio, did a countrified version of a Johnny Socko song called This Is Your Second Wolf. So, it's like, I was honoring the past of Socko. And then one of the last clips, I don't know if you remember this, is Dylan saying, keep on trucking, keep on trucking. And the background music of that is my great-great-grandfather playing acoustic guitar.
That's cool.
Yeah. So for me, it's just like, and then we were in the studio and we threw that together really quickly and pieced it together, but it just ended up being the lightest, funnest part for us, without the pressure of these are songs we're playing, we gotta mix them just right and all that. Just like, this is fun.
What was the Adam Sandler thing?
He had a movie, an animated movie called 8 Crazy Nights.
Okay.
It was a Hanukkah holiday movie, and there was a dude out of Chicago, I think, that worked with a company that made trailers or something. He was a big Johnny Socko fan, and he kept trying to use songs for trailers, and the studio said, oh yeah, that'll work. It was only on the theatrical trailer, so you had to go to the movie theater to watch Jackass, to see the preview for 8 Crazy Nights, to hear the Johnny Socko song in the theater, and that changed. I was like, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. This is so cool.
That's cool.
She was the dancing queen, cutest thing I've ever seen. I'm not sure if it was meant to be. She likes Brandon suspenders from the operators. It's a Hoosier thing, you wouldn't understand.
Oh, they smell so good. Oh.
More than she likes me.
I was gonna say before that album, like I don't know if that was in the trucking songs, So then I kind of got, I mean, I have like a playlist of like trucking songs. It's like that, and it's like kids songs. But it's mostly like Johnny Socko and then some children's songs that I found. Are funny.
Convoy on there? Are you familiar with that song? No?
I don't think so. What is it?
You gotta check out the song Convoy. Is it BJ McCoy? BJ, or is it Chris? He was in the movie.
Okay, that's not okay.
I want to say BJ McCoy. So we're old enough to remember music from the 70s. And that was one of those songs that was like AM gold. It is such a head scratcher that trust me, this song was genuinely popular, and it is such a great song. And it's a song about truckers getting in a convoy. There was like this little blip, Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run and Convoy, where it was like this American zeitgeist was truckers. It was just really fleeting and weird, and we kind of had a nod to that with Full Trucker Effect.
The first clip on Full Trucker Effect.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Been in a truck.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what
Watching. That's Chris Christopherson from the movie Convoy.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting a lawsuit now.
That's like Big D and the Kids Table has a bunch of those too, and I'm like, I don't know where they all come from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's the funnest part.
Yeah.
there are a bunch of samples on the first three records. Well, the first two records that may or may not have been cleared. We're definitely going to cruise on the statute of limitations on this point. Marlon Brando, I'm looking at you. And then we started making our own samples. So.
Okay.
Kinda scary how we try, and we're barely getting by. Don't it make you wanna cry? How we're barely getting by, barely getting by, barely getting by, barely getting by. Barely getting by, barely getting by. Don't you know that I am barely getting by? Keep on trying, but I'm barely getting by. Barely getting by. No matter what I do, I'm barely getting by.
Okay, before I knew it was a motel, like, I used to think they know us at the spa, like, it was kind of random and it went the rest of it. But at the same time, I actually really liked that song because it made me happy to, like, think the truckers were at the spa. But I don't know.
Not a lot of truckers made it to the spa.
And that's why I thought it was funny.
Yeah, the spa was its magical place. How much time do you want us to talk to you? We have way too many stories about the spas.
So it was inexpensive, and it was close to a couple of the clubs that we were playing in Chicago, so it became the spot we would book for after shows in Chicago. And we stayed there for a while before we even knew there was a bar. And then we learned that there was a bar. And that was open until 3 or 4 or even later. And then the bar would open again at about 11 o'clock in the morning. And it had a wonderful jukebox, and the bartender was somewhere from Eastern Europe and kind of understood English and would always mess up your drinks. Could I get a scotch and soda? Get a scotch and Sprite. Could I get what was the Slovakian beer? I don't remember. I mean, it was the perfect place to unwind after a show. And character.
It was the greatest 0-star hotel in the history of the world. Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes there would be missing windows. Sometimes there'd be stains on the floor, and you're like, I don't even want to think about what that is. One time we did a show in Chicago with a band from Ohio called the Twist Stops. And we were drinking until all hours, and everyone in Socko went to bed except for me. So I'm the only one that saw this, but we went to the front desk and they said, no matter what you hear, don't call the police. And we went outside and they got a big burlap sack and they emptied out bowling pins. They got a bowling ball, and on North Lincoln at 4:30 in the morning, they set up bowling. And come to appreciate how much sound treatment bowling alleys have instead of open urban areas. And if you're bowling not in a bowling alley, you have to go chase the bowling ball, which I think might be a traffic violation. So, and that, I mean, yeah, that place is nuts. That place is crazy.
In the AM, Lincoln northbound. Nobody knows me in this big winter town. My gig is over, but I'm not done yet. I feel like chicken already before I go into my basket. Only place to Nashville near. Built from youth and kindness, it's got fruition there. No, that's right. So welcome home. Ain't no more need to roam. They know it's at the spot. Yeah, yeah. 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 They know it's at the spot. Let's not overload the elevator. If I was you, I wouldn't even touch the floor. TV's fine if you like WGN. Odds are 2 to 1, you gonna get some freshmen in. Head downstairs for a couple of bells. Order what you want, you end up with something else. When there's no whiskey becomes gin. You like them Thompson twins, they know it's at the spot. Yeah, yeah, they know it's at the spot. Yeah, yeah, they know it's at the spot.
Right there so often that front desk
Ray.
truly did recognize this and so they knew us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you ever feel like, I don't know, different or like left out being from the Midwest? I don't know, since most people, I don't know, it seems like there's mostly like California and then like, I don't know.
With just music or trends or fashion or sports teams? I don't know. Not really. A couple of our favorite
Ska adjacent bands
from 80s and
Okay,
80s.
and yeah, there's no doubt that
Not no doubt, but there is no doubt. There's something about Midwest bands. I don't know. That like they're. I don't want to diss any coastal bands, but it kind of hit me when we first started doing shows up in Minneapolis. I was like, it is so snowy and icy and cold here. Like, people are just always inside writing good music, I guess. Like, there were so many good bands from Minneapolis. The Blue Meanies, they were the gold standard of like, you want to write crazy cool horn lines, Blue Meanies are it. NV330 writes some of the catchiest, best rock and roll, you know, and it's like, we're just all naturally friends, you know, and there's kind of this really nice network of Midwestern, you know, and we've all played on the coast and played with East Coast, West Coast bands. We liked them and had a lot of fun, but I don't know, to answer your question, I don't feel like we've been glossed over or flown over in any way. I feel pretty proud of Midwest band scene.
That's like I've heard East Coast people like say they felt left out of California. That's why
I cannot speak to it.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you don't feel left out.
All of my good fortune, and still you're asking me for more. Use me up and then you say to me, you want me walking out your door, walking out your door.
I should go first because my answers are always generic and straightforward. Beatles, without question. I was fortunate to grow up with some Frank Zappa, so that was kind of a cool connection. Van Halen made me want to play guitar. Fishbone made me want to play kind of music that we play. I was the biggest Adam and Ants fan growing up. I still love Adam and Ants. So those are kind of my core things. Comedians. I was telling you before we started recording, my wife and I watch stand-up comedy almost every day. And we have so many favorites. Big Nate Bargatze fans. But gosh, we just like it all. Love the culture of it. I mean, we have a really good friend, Matt Martin from Indiana, and he's just been a part of our.
Used to be in a band that we played with. Yeah. We've known him for decades.
Really sweet guy. He's a full-time comedian, just doing so well, putting on festivals and touring. And so it's just really fun watching people at all different levels. It's kind of similar to what we've experienced, but it's also not horrible. So it's kind of fascinating to watch comedians at different levels and see them working, actually making a living at it. And it's not Jerry Seinfeld. It's I'm gigging. I'm doing gigs this weekend. It's fun to watch people get known. And every once in a while, I watch somebody and pull them up. It's like, how have I never heard of this guy? He's amazing. And it makes you realize there's so many talented comedians out there.
Same thing with bands.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you mentioned Van Halen because I wasn't originally going to mention Van Halen. Van Halen was the reason I wanted to be a rock and roll musician. I started playing clarinet and saxophone, started learning jazz, heard Van Halen, and thought I want to play rock and roll. And Fishbone was like, okay, I want to do what they're doing. So both of those bands were really influential in making me who I am. Some of my favorite bands these days, I love Mastodon, Queens of the Stone Age. I love any kind of world music. There's an international music festival that takes place in Bloomington, Indiana every year. I try to go to that every year, and like these acts from around the world I've never heard of before that suddenly become one of my favorite bands. And I just keep, like Balkan Beatbox, I saw them there. I'm trying to think of other bands. I just try to listen to everything I can get my hands on. Favorite comedians, my favorite has got to be Pat Oswalt. He once made me, I was listening to a thing of his in the car and I was laughing so hard, I started cutting off circulation in my seatbelt, started blacking out while I was driving. So, kudos to Pat for almost killing me.
Well, you gotta do, I play clarinet too. Like, how many of you were in marching band? Because I didn't see the answer to the question on Instagram.
I was in marching band for 4 years.
Okay.
Drum major senior year.
How many was it?
I don't think so. Probably just me and Charlie.
So
I don't know about that one. Yeah, I don't know.
Those who regret no regrets. That's history. So what's the purpose? Beyond the surface. Dig a little deeper for a prize that you want what you want. How it should be. Are you ready to go? Let's get on with the show. For all the fashion, gotta keep it real because it all fades away, fades away. You can't hold on.
I was gonna ask, so what's the song "We're All Right" about?
It's whatever you want it to be about. For me, it was about kind of maturing, and it's never super personal, but maybe certain things are influenced by real life things. But for the most part, it's just that kind of typical of, hey, I used to be in my 20s and not super responsible, but I've grown up. And look, I'm all right. You're all right. We're all right. It's also a little bit about.
Is there a nod to Raising Arizona with that?
There is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. There's a line in Raising Arizona where H.I. McDonough, played by Nicolas Cage, is trying to prove to his wife that I'm okay. Little Nathan Jr.'s okay. You're okay. We're okay.
There's what's right. There's what's right. Never the twain shall meet.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I love the cadence of that. But really, it's just kind of like, hey, relax. Things kind of work themselves out. We're all right. Also, there's a little personal thing there in the bridge where I had people tell me when I was on the road, you realize that what you're doing, Chris, is not real. It's not real life. And so it was kind of me acknowledging, hey, it was okay. It is what it is, and we're all right, and I'm not going to apologize for having a good time.
Okay, cool. As I say, I said to kind of interact so much. So it says you learned all you know from watching way too much TV. So like, what are your favorite TV shows?
Love Saturday Night Live. I love Bill Maher. Real Time with Bill Maher.
Star Trek.
I'm not a sci-fi guy too much.
The Expanse. Star Trek. Space 1999. I do like Star Trek. I'm a sucker for the local news.
Jeopardy every day.
Oh wow.
Keep my trivia skills
What are
up.
you, 70? That's so funny.
I guess you kind of talk about too. What about movies?
What's that?
What about movies?
I like movies.
Do you have a favorite?
Oh boy. This is Spinal Tap, Blues Brothers, Animal House are really important movies to me. That's the gold standard of what is funny to me. There are a lot of movies that are kind of my favorite movies that I don't know if I'd ever want to watch again. They kind of really got into me. There's a movie called Irreversible that if you want a doozy, watch Irreversible. I'm sorry in advance, but that's a palate cleanser. You come out different on the other side of that. I movies and music and comedy. There's so much good stuff out there. I'm always trying to stumble on new good stuff. I'm finding I'm watching more and more horror movies the older I get.
Aforementioned Raising Arizona. This is Spinal Tap. Empire Strikes Back still holds up for me. My wife and I quote The Wedding Singer almost daily, and we can't go 6 months without watching the entirety. Still today.
Yeah. The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Sorry. I just watched that again the other night. That movie is one of my favorite all-time movies. Sorry. Continue.
We're got sucked into Jaws the other day. That's
I think I've only seen that once.
yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Shawshank is the one you gotta watch it.
Oh, that's like the greatest movie of the year.
Yeah.
Bounce up and down if your knees don't hurt.
Living the life till I went out west, met them guys in bed. Smoked some of that wicked Dennis hooch, now I forget where I live. I saw a silly little man with a great haircut, violin on the Button Sky Parade. He told me that I cost too much, I wish he'd go away. I don't care about jack shit, I just wanna pick my nose. Maybe true upon myself, that's the way you go. Yeah, I don't care about jack shit, I just wanna pick my nose. Maybe true upon myself, that's the way you go. Didn't take no petrified rocks, now he ain't got no fruit flies. Well, then it's going up Mexicans, believe me, I would not lie. I jam with the skeletons at the belly up, tap cat in LA. I got whacked in the knee by the blood trombone, he apologized, it's okay. I don't care about jack shit, I just wanna pick my nose. Maybe it's true for myself, that's the way you go. Yeah, I don't care about jack shit, I just wanna pick my nose. Maybe it's true for myself, that's the way it goes.
So what's the best, worst, like, you can do more than one, like the best, worst, like craziest Johnny Socko shows or whatever that come to mind? Or you do Coolidge too, but I feel like it's probably crazier back in the day.
I knock on wood, Coolidge has. Oh boy. I feel like Socko paid so many road dues that I'm hoping. I'm about to sneeze. I hope that Coolidge dodged a bullet for particularly god awful shows. I mean, one of my favorite Socko experiences was, you know, when you get around other bands, you start like, you know, swapping war stories, and you know, oh yeah, we did this show, man, no one was there, and you're like, if you press people, there are people there. We did a show in Rhode Island. There was no one there. We were supposed to play the week before for Ska Fest. Whatever reason, it didn't pan out. The booking agent frantically tried to get us on we were out on the East Coast. Oh, have them come back next Thursday. Okay, it was heavy metal night, so he put Johnny Socko in the middle of like 6 or 7 heavy metal bands. So all of the bands and all of their fans and friends were out in the parking lot. So it's just Johnny Socko, it's just the sound guy, it's just the bartender. No one's buying drinks, so the bartender, like, I'm gonna go restock, smoke a cigarette, he leaves. It's just the sound guy. About 2 or 3 songs in, sound guy's like, I'm gonna go out. We were the only people in the club. We were playing to 0 people.
Until we had kind of been playing around with a Van Halen song called Loss of Control, which is a pretty ripping song. Pretty rocking song, and it was a lot of fun for us to play, but it was really not our style. But we were pretty blessed to have a couple of guys in the band that could pull it off. And so we were like, nobody's here, let's play Van Halen. And so we rip into this song. It's a pretty dark intro, and then it goes into a pretty frenetic bass. And then all of a sudden, about 7 or 8 people from the parking lot came in and were like,
You speak my language.
yeah, really enjoyed it. And we finished, lots of control, lots of control, lots of control. And then we went into Johnny Socko ska song and they left. But for the most part, we played to nobody.
I mean, that was noteworthy. We did a tour. This is before Chris was in the band. We went on tour with Johnny Socko. Went on tour with the Toasters and Murphy's Law and a hardcore band from New York called Madball. And we were like these little doe-eyed 20-year-old kids from Indiana. Let's play ska punk, and just had our minds melted by East Coast hardcore. And that. We left on that tour as boys and we came back as men. We opened up for Dave Matthews right before Dave Matthews broke. Kid Rock opened up for Johnny Socko in Cleveland before he got super famous.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
He was kind of a jerk in the merch area.
Do you have like a best one? Do you have like a favorite one that stands out? Like a happy one?
There have been the same thing with Coolidge, where anytime. So there's a house rule in my house. Like if I'm going to do a gig, I have to either make money, have fun, or be creatively challenged. And Coolidge sometimes checks all 3 boxes. And then icing on the cake is if people in the audience are singing along with lyrics that we wrote or I wrote or horn lines that we wrote, and you're like, I could die happy man. Like this is so few people in the world get to do this. I'm on stage playing music that I wrote, and it's creatively fulfilling, financially rewarding, and people are enjoying themselves. Like and that's happened a lot of times. Not every time, but it's happened a lot of times that I'm really, really fortunate. So.
There's also the concept of, and this is more Johnny Socko days, of great bad shows. Because there were occasions where maybe there was only a handful of people in the audience in a small club, and that's when we would decide to cut loose a little bit and just have more fun and play the Van Halen songs, or
we were like entertaining ourselves,
and those ended up being the absolute best shows for us. And the few people that were there got to experience a unique thing. It wasn't just us running to a set; it was those guys were connected with each other, and it's infectious. And those people got to share and experience something that was really unique. Those are some of my happiest memories, are those great bad shows.
Yeah, man, we opened up for Fishbone a couple times. Coolidge and Johnny Socko. Now that's the life goal. Check. Boom. Yeah, it's awesome.
So looking back, is there anything you do like differently?
I would have sold millions more records. I would have written many more hit songs. I would have been commercially much more successful at every front. I would have bought Apple stock and IBM stock. I would have had a lot of money on the Colts winning the Super Bowl. I don't know. Hindsight's 50-50.
I wouldn't have gotten in the way of my mom and dad meeting when I accidentally flew back to 1955 in my DeLorean.
Do you have any music advice? Do you have any music advice?
Any music advice?
Yeah, like, or for like I guess people starting out or I don't know, or just doing anything
Oh, geez.
like you want to do?
Figure out how you're going to measure success, because the goalposts are always moving. It's not an easy road, but it's a fun road. It certainly can be. You know, don't be a dick.
You have to do it because you love it.
Yeah.
And don't have any more expectations beyond that. Because there's just too many other factors contributing to it. You know, you had kind of mentioned earlier, sure, maybe consider relocating to New York, LA, or Nashville.
Or not. I mean, it all depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, but that's no guarantee of success for doing that. So, do what you do, love what you do.
Listen, you know, listen, musically and conversationally, because when you play music with people, you're in a weird, it's like not always a dysfunctional marriage, but it's a multi-person marriage, and you want communication to flow in a musical way, in a conversational way. You have to learn how to communicate. Hey, that's rubbing me the wrong way, please don't do that. Hey, I'm listening to music, let them shine, let them solo. Hey, this is my time to solo. I'm gonna set the groundwork for all of us to musically succeed, or whatever. Just learning how to open your mind and listen, open your ears.
Is there anything you like want to try or do that you haven't done yet? Like anything, like it doesn't have to be music.
There's all kinds of life goals. I'd love to sell a screenplay. I'd love to make $1 gazillion. I mean, I'm not in it for the money, but I'd love to. Oh, this song we wrote is here's a $50,000 check for this. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, that would be great. I don't know. Have a good time. Have a good time.
Okay. So is there a song that like got popular or like people like that you didn't expect them to like? Like you're surprised like that one caught on or?
It's pretty silly how many people will randomly come up to me. Hey, it doesn't happen that much anymore, but I've had some interesting characters in my life come up to me and say, "Oh, bitch stole my hat." Yep. You know, like when I used to wait tables at a high-end steakhouse. And, can I get you anything to drink? Oh, bitch stole my hat. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
So was there like one that you thought would be like everyone would really like and then they weren't into it?
I don't really set out to write a popular. I just write.
Well, if it's one that you like really like and you're like, I think other people would like it, and then like I don't know, it didn't take off. It's just the reverse.
Oh, quite a bit of material.
I've experienced that where I had a lot of confidence in a song. I thought this one is going to catch, and then inevitably, this is kind of a warning to musicians. It's like you're putting pressure on them from the get-go, and you know it's like we'll be recording it, and I'll be frustrated. It's just not clicking the way I thought it was going to, or didn't turn out like I envisioned. It's because you put too much pressure on it in the first place. So I've tried to really back off of that. Like, this is the next song, on to the next one.
It's amazing how some songs, like when we recorded We're in Our 50s, that came together so easily, so well. And it's a really catchy song, it's a fun song. There weren't a lot of questions, it was like, oop, here it is, yeah, oh, okay, that works.
We're in our 50s. Yeah, that's right, in our 50s. Could you speak up, please? Because we're in our 50s.
And some of the new stuff that we're working on, there's one song that we're going back and forth on it's posing some challenges. So sometimes you just have to kind of be true to your creative self, and sometimes it comes out easily, sometimes it doesn't.
With your faith and your feet of man, you have no scars on
So, is there like, are you ever gonna like tour or anything? Like,
We're in Virginia.
tour.
What more do you want from us?
I want you to come back.
Okay, we'll come back.
Okay.
We drove through West Virginia on the Oregon Trail, dying of dysentery.
Do you have anything else you want to
You
add?
made it with it. That's an old video game reference.
Oh no, I know. It's
okay.
someone messaged me something. I know the Oregon Trail.
Dysentery.
I do know the Oregon Trail. I'm more into like old school Nintendo, but I know the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Thanks for supporting original music.
I wanna feel a little sunshine as the sand between my toes, and if you get me out of office, don't you try to track me down. Gonna have a little rest, so far from this town. Kind of scary how we try.
You know, we definitely embrace that and listen to all that stuff.
Okay. So I guess where can the people find you on social media? Check you out, like in your music and stuff.
CoolidgeTheBand.com is the first place to go. You'll find links to everything. That's kind of the running URL, if you will, for all of the social medias is Coolidge the Band.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All grown up and no place to go. Psych 1, Psych 2, what do you know? All your life is Channel 13. Just so